All right, time for another smokables video. Disclaimer, I don't recommend smoking, and these videos are not for children. Okay, so what's on today's agenda? Same as always, I'm going to try something new or try a modification of something I've already tried before, or maybe a blend of something. Okay, so what do I got today? I'll go right into it. I've got something called Femme tea, or is it Fern? No, it's Femme. I don't care what it's called. It's got raspberry leaf, red clover, and rose. Okay, see, you can see right in there. Lots of red clover, actually, right? The red clover flowers. Anyway, I already stuffed my pipe, and I was puffing on it slightly already. And I was filming, but I started to lose my voice because I think I'm dehydrated, and started the video over. Anyway, let's get right into it. Now, this is supposed to be a tea, right? You can make a tea. I suppose you would have to put this in some sort of strainer, little basket, dip it in the water, hot boiling water or whatever, and wait for it to have its intended effect, and then drink the tea, right? But they don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to smoke it. I'm not inhaling it. I'm puffing on it like you do with a cigar or a pipe. Of course, some people do inhale cigars and pipes, but you can get the nicotine from tobacco through your mouth and through your sinuses. So you just puff on it. You can also blow the smoke out through your nose or in through your nose. If you're careful, you won't get it into your lungs as much. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm puffing on it, and I'm doing it because it's relaxing, and it's a hobby of mine. I've been smoking on and off for maybe 20 years now. So what do I think of this blend? I'm thinking it's pretty good. If I draw on it too fast, it's really hot. I think it's the raspberry leaves that burn hot. But who knows? It could be the clover. I don't know. I can taste the green, so to speak, but I think it might be some of the mullein tar still in there that I'm reactivating every time I relight this pipe. I should probably make several different pipes and then smoke different things in those pipes and keep it pretty much the same as far as what's in it. That way I don't mix up the flavors. It's pretty easy to make one of these. This is just a maple bowl and an ash shoot stem. I taste the raspberry leaves because I know how they taste now. I got a bag of raspberry leaves here that I tried the other day. I'm going to try these components separately. I think I can taste the rose, but I'm not sure. I think I can. It's actually pretty good, but it is a bit harsh. It could be black raspberry because I haven't tried black raspberry yet. Anyway, like I said, I do this for relaxation and not for a chemical effect on the brain. I guess I haven't mentioned that yet. Now, if it does have an effect, I just want it to be a mild effect because it's, if I want to deal with anxiety or if I really want to relax, I'd rather not use a chemical to do it, because then you become dependent. Now, you can become dependent on an activity, but it's better than to become dependent on a chemical. An activity is usually not expensive, but it can get expensive if you have to buy what you're smoking, right? Yeah. Okay, so what else? I usually drift into another update of some sort. This is actually pretty good. I don't mind it at all. It was a good purchase. I got this at a farm stand, right? Yeah, farm stand. Local farm stand, locally grown. It's just organic stuff. There's no pesticides on it, because they obviously sell it so you can make a tea and drink it. All right, so another update on stuff. Let's see. This is the second time I tried to make a video, so I'm not sure if I've already talked about this, but the second time I've tried to shoot this video on TV, on the video today. Anyway, this mullein here, this is my latest experiment. I baked it in the oven at 245 degrees for 45 minutes. And that's still green. It came out really crispy, and I don't see any mold growing on it. And it tastes like mullein. I mean, it tastes all right. I don't really like the taste that much, but it tastes all right. And either the article lied to me and said, when it said that chlorophyll breaks down with heat, or it did break down, it just doesn't change color. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe there. Anyway, I was also drying some mullein in my van and using that as like a drying device, because it gets really hot in there and the humidity stays in the van. So hot and humid works pretty good, it seems, to cure the mullein leaves. I put mullein leaves in there a couple days ago. Some of them are already crispy. Some of them are still soft. Now, some of them look like they're developing some mold. That worries me. See that? This one looks pretty mold free. Can't tell. No, it looks like it has some grayish mold on it. Anyway, I'm worried about the mold on these. Yeah, that one looks like it has some mold on it. So I don't know if I should be concerned about that, if it's just harmless mold, or if it's going to be something that becomes toxic once you smoke it. All right. So when there's a question, I usually just throw the batch out. But another interesting thing was that the younger leaves of the mullein have lost their color. The younger leaves. See that? See that? There's a big difference between that and the mature leaves as far as green goes. Right? The younger leaves, either they don't have much chlorophyll, which makes sense, or the chlorophyll breaks down in a different way than it does here under the same conditions. So this might be better tasting to smoke, the younger leaves. So I'm going to save these separately. And I don't see any mold growing on these. Another interesting thing. So one of the moral of that story is, one thing I should look for is young leaves in the rosettes on the first year of growth on the mullein, if I want to eliminate the green and the chlorophyll. I got a couple comments that said, don't worry about the green. Don't worry about the chlorophyll. It's no big deal. But if I'm doing it for taste, then, I am concerned about it to some extent. Okay, what else do I got? Let's see, it's only 9 minutes. I want to show you my other pipes. Yeah, these are the ones that well, this is the type of pipe I started with 20 years ago. I don't know how old this one is, but it's pretty old. And you know, I still buy this cheap. Well, yeah, it's cheap tobacco from. I think you can get it almost anywhere. This Captain Black stuff. It's in there, but mainly for the aroma. I don't smoke it once it gets too stale. Anyway, I gave up tobacco smoking because it just didn't agree with me. One day I woke up and I had no interest in smoking, as I mentioned before. But these are some of my favorite pipes, and I can still taste the tobacco flavoring. Yeah, it's I miss it to a certain extent. And for those of you who are curious, I have smoked cigars in the past. I was my favorite are the torpedo end on these. But you know, this is the typical cigar that I smoke. It's just a cheap cigar. Now, um, I shouldn't puff on it again. It's been several months, but I'm going to try it just to get a comparison in taste. All right. You know, it does have a psychological effect as far as the tobacco goes. I don't think I'm in danger of picking this up again. I just want to try it out and compare the taste. Now, cigar smoking can get very ritualistic and very involved, you know, depending on what type of cigars you smoke and how you want to smoke them. Yeah, I did get attached to these in the past. I like to smoke them a lot because it's a whole different ball game with this cured tobacco and the tobacco itself. It's a whole different ball game from these herbs. Yeah, and the aroma from this, it's not like a campfire. Yeah, with this other stuff, these other herbs. I'm not talking about the funny weed, but these non-funny weeds. They smell like a campfire. And they also have that weird flowery, perfumey, a weird flowery, perfumey smell to them, which isn't too weird, but it's kind of a smoky, flowery combination. Yeah. And there's a difference in that when you have tobacco in your mouth rather than a pipe stem in your mouth, it's a different experience as well. But yeah, I'm not going to go back to the tobacco. I just wanted to compare. It is a whole different ballgame. Which one do I like better? Well, I like the cigars better, but if I can find a good blend, or even not a good blend, just a good plant to puff on, I think I'll be happy. Yeah. I don't need the nicotine, although it does have some desirable effects. I don't need it. What I need mainly is just something that I can do to relax. Because because I do get I do have symptoms of anxiety. I gotta admit. And usually when I get symptoms of anxiety, I try to transfer it to some other emotion like anger or intensity. and maybe do a workout or something. But when you have negative emotions, it kind of wears on you over time. So I'd rather dissipate the anxiety instead of switch over to some other emotion. Just sit down, relax, and figure out a way to, you know, cause it to just wear off. Of course, you need to attack the root of the anxiety. That's the hard part. Where this helps to clear the mind after a few minutes of just relaxing. And sometimes, you can shift to another activity that is less stressful, and then go back to your stressful activity after being a little bit refreshed, I suppose. Anyway, I used to do that with the tobacco and the nicotine, but this has a harsh effect, and it can call it, they call it spinning. If you puff on this too intently and get too much nicotine all at once, you can get both nicotine poisoning or some other type of effect. It's not going to kill you, right? But they call it nicotine poisoning because it causes you to feel sick. And the nickname for it is you feel nick sick. But yeah, nicotine is a toxin. So yeah. Now, one more thing. There's a lot of comments on weed in the comment section, which is perfectly okay. I don't mind. And there's some weed trolls. Well, you know what? The weed trolls are kind of cool. They're funny. If I had to be trolled by any group, I think the weed trolls are the best. Yeah. But I was going to say, here in Vermont, I'm surrounded by people who have been perfecting the art of growing the funny weed for years. So it's everywhere around here, and it's legalized now. So I can get some if I want, just perfectly legal. But I've been avoiding it uh, for a long time. Well, I did smoke some in high school, and I had a girlfriend who got me into smoking some of it. Um, and I had other friends that I hung around with that we smoked sometimes for a few years after high school. But when I joined the military, we couldn't do any drugs, so I didn't do that. I didn't do drugs during my military service. I was in the National Guard for 10 years. And then after I got out, I had no interest in getting into it. Mainly because of the brain fog. I needed to use my brain. I had no interest in causing any impairment in my brain because all my work was very technical. I'm a draftsman by trade, and the details are important. I can't mess up the details. We also used math in my job, believe it or not, quite a bit. Geometry and stuff like that. I didn't want any brain fog whatsoever. And the funny weed causes me to have brain fog, but not in a good way. Yeah. Is there a good way to have brain fog? Yeah, if it helps you to forget your anxiety, helps you to calm down a little bit. Anxiety is a serious issue in many cases. All right. I was going to puff on this one too because I have two of my favorites here, but I'm not going to do it. I don't know if you can hear that. It's gurgling down in there, which means that something in this blend produces a lot of tar. Yeah. is I'm getting juice down at the bottom of the bowl. But it burns well. And it's, it's not bad as far as taste goes. Yeah. It's a little bit perfumey for my taste. So yeah, I prefer the silky dogwood so far out of everything. The silky dogwood bark. These are not leaves. So I might just switch to doing mainly bark and not leaves, or I'll figure out a way to cure the leaves in a better way. Oh, I also read somewhere where you can cure the leaves with red wine on the leaves. Either you dip the leaves or you spray the leaves with red wine or red wine vinegar. I might try that. But yeah, I'll continue with this type of video. As time goes on, I will be experimenting with more stuff. Yeah, but I will not get back into smoking the tobacco or the funny weed. Alrighty, that's it.